How's it going, everyone? It's Otaku Tavern back at you with another video, and today we're going to talk about something pretty interesting. I've talked a little bit about certain things, kind of like this topic before, but you know, I haven't really went into full depth and all that kind of stuff, right? So we're gonna go in it today, and just kind of chat. So anyway, if you're new to the channel and you like the type of content that I create, or the videos I create, whatever, right? Subscribe if you want to. If not, then it's cool too, I guess. No pressure, I guess. So anyway, in my life, I have seen quite a lot of things that are pretty bad, to be honest. I mean, like, hey, how's it going? It's just, it's a lot to get into. So in this video, I'm going to be talking to the otaku men, obviously. If you're a woman watching this, then you may not agree with me, depending on the type of woman you are. But if you like video, then that's cool too. If you agree with what I say, then that's cool too. If you don't, then, you know, whatever. It doesn't really matter, I don't guess. But this is to the otaku men who have necessarily missed out on a lot of things that they should have had in life when they were at a younger age, or even now. Like, even now, they should have quite a bit of these things. So yeah, we're going to be touching kind of like quite a few subjects here. So I don't know how long this video is going to last. I mean, this one's probably going to be, I don't know, maybe quite long. I don't know. So if that's not your thing, I mean, I guess now's the time to get off the video if it's not your thing. So anyway, you may be asking about, like, what I'm talking about missing out, right? So as far as this goes, I'm talking about the men who have missed out on friendships, opportunities, you know, finding, you know, like a good girl or a good woman. This could even be career opportunities as well, even family opportunities, to be honest, because, I mean, let's be honest, I mean, a lot of our families, I mean, seems like that they're not really any good. I mean, I'm not saying your family's not. I mean, I obviously don't know them, but I mean, you do, obviously, but surely you know if your family's any good or whatnot. So so the thing I want to mention first is the fact of, you know, when you're younger, I was watching a video today and found this guy's channel, and he was really touching on some really good points, and I mean, I did disagree with the stance on the fact of not believing in God, right? I do disagree with that. No hate to the guy. The prime market of dating is past due to me. Okay, yeah, we're going to be talking about that, actually. It's funny you mentioned that. That's something we're going to be talking about tonight. With as far as a whole nother slew of topics here. Like I said, this video may be kind of long, so I mean it shouldn't be over 2 hours though. But anyway, so this video reminded me of a incident that I had in school, and I was sitting there one time, and I'm going to tell you this now. So, as a man, if you're not, like, in the clique, if you're not, like, whatever terms you want to use, you could use the term Chad, you could use the term prep, you could use all those terms. I'm not going to list them, but, like, I may say, like, one or two here or there. And you'll know what I'm talking about. But the thing with that is, like, if you're not one of them and you're a man and you take up for yourself, oh man, you have done the wrong thing. And that's what this video was talking about. It was like, yeah, like, I knew all this. And then it really reminded me of a story that I personally went through in school myself. And I was like, I figured I would talk about this. So, if you're not in the clique, like I said, or one of those types of men, then when you take up for yourself, these people will view you as a monster. They will view you, they will say, well, why do you have so much anger? Why are you doing this? Why that, and they always say, oh, it's good to take up for yourself. But for the man who is constantly being bullied, who isn't in the clique, say he's poor, say he's an outcast, he could even be autistic. I mean, no hate on autistic people. I'm autistic myself, so. But he could be in special ed. You get to understand what I'm talking about, right? So, if you're one of these men, like, and you take up for yourself, oh man, you will be going to the principal's office. Like, I'm not even joking. You literally will, because they paint you out to be the bad guy because you're not involved in the clique. You're not a part of what society deems as a human being. And society really likes to tear down people who are not in this so-called clique. Hey, how's it going? They like to tear people down that's not in this clique. So anyway, back to the story. So there was this guy, he started trying to bully me and shit, right? So, and he threw, like, make a long story short, he would try to do this, like, every day in, like, algebra class, right? So, and then I was like, I got enough of it, because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take up for myself, obviously. And, this guy, he literally threw an algebra book right at me when I was sitting at the desk. And, I started cussing. I was ready to fight this guy. Like, I was ready to kick this guy's ass. And, the teacher got onto me, she started, like, literally getting in my way, right? Like, this woman was probably, like, 300, 400 pounds, right? And, she was getting in my way, and I told him, I said, you're lucky that this blank, 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 something I can't say on YouTube, is in my way, because if you didn't have that, I'm going to tell you now, it wouldn't be good for you. And I told him, I said, well, why don't you meet me after school when the teachers are away? And after school came, and you know, he started walking, right? And I started following this guy. Like, you know, me and a buddy of mine was following this guy, and I was like, hey, you know, where are you going, man? Like, you know, you said you wanted to hash it out, you wanted to do all this and do that, you know, why are you walking away? And then he was like, nah, man, like, I don't think it's a good idea. I'm just like, what? It's not a good idea to get your ass kicked? I said, because, I said, you're the one who started this mess. So I mean, if you know, you're going to be this way, then you need to come on and back it up, man, because, and to make a long story short, the guy literally ran off, right? So he ran off like a coward. And, I just, man, this guy laughed about it. Damn, me and this guy just laughed about it. And, you know, that's the thing. You know, that's why bullying will never be out of schools, because teachers will only defend the so-called people in the clique, the Chad, the, you know, the Stacy or whoever, you know, like basically what that means is like the Stacy is a woman who's in the clique, basically. Could be prep, could be whatever, right? So, and, you know, the teacher will get on to you completely if you're not like in this group of people. So, you know, from a high status point or, you know, stuff like that. And it's really sickening. But anyway, I'll tell you what it boils down to. So the reason why bullying will never be took out of schools is because of this right here. They don't want to tackle the root problem. And, you know, they get mad at these so-called people defending themselves, like getting into fights, right? And, you know, and that's the thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking up for things like school shooters or anything like that, but that's why that stuff happens, because that's one reason why it happens, because someone is being bullied for something. Like, look, I'll be honest with you, even if I don't agree with it, I don't necessarily think someone should be bullied for it. Like, I mean, that's just my personal opinion, but like, you know, they shouldn't be necessarily bullied. I mean, sure, there's people who will say, oh, they're bullying me. Going off topic, why is there water underwater in this track? I have no idea. I actually didn't notice that until you just said that, actually. Are you talking about the Bikini Bottom track? But like, yeah, like what they do is, I'll tell you exactly what they do. So if you pay attention, most of these schools are ran by women. So what they do is they try to emasculate these types of men, right? You know, they call them the troublemakers, I guess, when, you know, really, in all honesty, the people who are bullying are the troublemakers, right? Why is there water and underwater in SpongeBob Bikini Bottom? I don't know, I've always wondered that myself. But like, you know, what they'll do is they'll try to teach you to be a good little servant, like a good little boy, kind of like try to make you be like a little girl, you know, and like, you know, you can't necessarily take up for yourself, because if you do, you're the one getting in trouble, you know, like. And it's like, you know, it really reminds me of a thing that they have, and I think it was Germany. I actually had a guy tell me this. Like, he told me that if, I believe it was Germany. He told me that if you defend yourself from someone breaking in your home, and you like end them, you're the one that goes to jail. And you know, like if you really think about how screwed up that is, like you know, so basically you have two options here. You either die or you just go to jail, right? Like that's really corrupt in my opinion. But like I actually had a German guy telling me this stuff one time, and it was just crazy the stuff he was telling me. I was like, wow, man, like that's crazy. Like, you know, and he started talking about like how corrupt the law was over there and all this stuff, right? So yeah, like they will try to demasculate you and say, oh, well, you know, you're the monster for taking up for yourself. And it's like, you know, I'm not saying that a school shooter takes up for themselves. What they're doing is absolutely wrong, right? So, but the thing is you got to ask, why do they get to that point? Why does a man get to that point? Why does a person get to that point? Like, you know, because nothing is being done about the bullying. Nothing, not a dang thing. And it's like, you know, that's the problem. And, you know, if you're an otaku male, you know, and you've been bullied, you know, this is kind of my target audience, so this is kind of really who I'm talking to. That, and I mean, I'm kind of talking to people who's like myself too, so, like, but if you're not, that's fine. But, like, they will bully you, you know, and try to get you to crack. That's what they will do. They will bully you and try to get you to crack, so then they can paint you to look like the bad person. And it's just gaslighting. It's all like that's all it is. It's gaslighting to the core. Like it's all this stuff is what it is. Like, you know, it's completely ridiculous. But like, you know, like, going back to the school thing, think about it. Like, I mean, there was this time, like, you know, I was just talking about earlier, this guy threw this algebra book at me, right? I was the one that had to go to the principal's office. Not him, he started it. But I was the one that ultimately had to go, and he didn't get in any trouble for it. Like, and... like, it just goes to show the favoritism of society, you know, and it was just, it's just pathetic. Like, it's honestly just pathetic. Like, but like, if you're like, also, another thing, so if you're a man, especially like if you're an otaku male, right? You know, like all these people, like you call them normies, normal people, that's what they call them, normies. They think they're normal, right? But literally, honestly, these people are the true losers because, you know, they can't really process emotions well. They can't really lend a listening ear. They can't really do anything, like, to be honest. Like the only thing they really understand is maybe like they got lucky and was favored, you know, favored, and they got like a career or, you know, something like that. And it's like, well, you know, they think, oh, well, if you don't have a career, then, you know, you're nothing. Like, and it's like they drill that in your head from a very young age. Like, if you don't have a career, now take note, now they're not talking about flipping burgers at McDonald's, right? They're talking about something that they approve of, right? You know, it could be a CEO of something, or, you know, something of like great status, because these people want to try to imitate the rich, right? So, and it's like if you don't have that, they want to try to tell you this stuff, like, oh, you know, because that's the first thing, if you really think about it, that's the first thing people will ask you when you meet someone is, well, where are you working at? What's your career? Like, what do you do? And it's like, you know, why are these normies like just asking this off the blue? Why does it matter? Like, is that what you base a conversation off of? Like, is that like the only thing you know how to talk about? Like, are you so trapped within the matrix that you can't talk about anything else other than just working away? Like, and it's like, you know, a lot of these people, they sit here and like, they got all these nice houses and stuff, yet they're barely ever home. They're barely ever in them. And it's like, you know, to me, it makes no sense. Like, I mean, sure, you know, you want to have a good, nice house, but like, they kind of take it overboard, like some of these people do. And, you know, like, nobody needs like a house that's got like, say, 10 bedrooms in it. Like, unless you got like 10 kids, then I don't really think you need a house like that. Like, it's just weird. Like, it just makes no sense why someone would want to have a house that big, because, you know, it's more cleanup, it's more, like, unnecessary work. Like stuff that could be avoided, right? And, you know, and if you don't have that, you're labeled like weird. You're labeled, oh, well, you're not, you know, you're not financially stable. You're not doing well, especially if you live in like a low-income housing place, like an apartment, or like a house that's like built in the 80s or something, right? That's when they will really criticize you. And it's like, you know, if you're flipping burgers at McDonald's or like bacon fries at Wendy's or something, right? Like, you know, you're viewed as the problem. You're viewed as like a scumbag, so to say, to them. Like, I mean, you're not a scumbag, that's the thing. Like, but like, that's what they try to drill in your head. And it's just, I don't know, it's crazy, like, how that these people will act this way. And I mean, it's really just disgusting as a whole. Like, but like, yeah, you know, who cares if you're a man flipping burgers at McDonald's? You know, you're, you know, hey, if you're not like disabled or something, you know, at least you're like doing your part, like, you know, trying to make ends meet. You're trying to take care of yourself, right? And that's the thing, just taking care of yourself is expensive these days. And I see a lot of men talk about this, right? Like, they're like, I can barely take care of myself because of, you know, inflation or all of this stuff, right? And it's like, you know, a lot of these people will sit here, these normies, and say they'll I'll use Trump supporters as an example. This man could literally say that he crapped purple and they would believe it. I mean, they would literally believe it. Like, I hate to say this, but they really would. They believe anything this guy says. Like, I honestly, sincerely believe if Jesus was standing here and then Trump was saying something and then Jesus was like, no, that's not right, I guarantee you most of them would probably side with Donald Trump. I guarantee you it. Like, even people who claim to be Christian, they would probably sit here and be like trying to yell at Jesus, be like, no, how dare you question Trump? You know, how dare you say he's lying? You know, and it's like, that's like the whole God complex thing. Like, politics has completely destroyed society as a whole. Both sides. I'm not just talking about Trump. Like, I'm talking about the whole thing, right? And it's like, you know, but it's like, you know, that's the thing. Like, if you pay attention, like, a lot of people, like, really idolize these people. Like, and it's like, these people do not care nothing about you. You know, it's really crazy to the fact that, like, these people, like, you know, do you honestly think Donald Trump gives a damn if you're sitting here starving like 3 days out of the month and you can't afford to eat, do you honestly think he gives a damn? Like, I mean, hell no, he doesn't care. That guy is loaded. Like, he's like, what, the 500th something, in the 500s, like, richest person in America? Like, do you honestly believe that this guy honestly gives a squat about how you feel or what, do you really think that? Because if you do, then you're part of the problem. Like, and the same goes for the other side. Like, it's all mess is all it is. Like, these people do not care. You know, because it's like, what are they doing for me? Like, you know, what are they doing for the man who, you know, is an outcast? What are they doing for the woman who's an outcast? Nothing, that's what. Not a thing. Like, you know, it's not like, you know, they're making programs to help these people and, nah. You know, like, the same thing with, like, people with autism, right? You know, there's not really a lot of places. Think about it. Do you ever hear about, oh, hey, you want to go to an autistic meeting? Like, no, you don't hear that because it's not a thing. Like, there's no place for these types of people to meet other people like them. Like, they have to try to get lucky on social media, maybe a gaming console, or maybe, like, some kind of friend app or whatever. They have to try to get lucky. And, you know, the thing is like, you know, they're going to run into a lot of, like, normies and stuff, people who are hell to deal with, and people who are just going to give them bad advice, right? Like, I mean, I can't tell you, like, I have not had one single person, like, in my life, literally, like in real life, not like online, but like in real life, that has actually gave me genuine good advice. And what I mean by that is, like, someone who's, like, you know, all caring and stuff, and it's like, you know, no, like, the instant you tell them you have problems, oh, just go get a job, you know, go get a second job, get a third job, or, like, you know, you're not allowed to speak on how you feel. And it's like, you know, that's why why do you think so many men, like, are doing, like, certain things, like, you know, and then they end up in jail? Like, why do you think they're doing it? I can tell you why. Number one, they were rejected by the system, and two, their father more than likely wasn't in the house. You know, so, like, you know, and to top it all off, I'm actually going to go ahead and move on to something else now. Like, to top it all off, like, you know, if you're like an otaku male, right, like, you know, it's going to be really rough for you because, like, you know, stuff like video games and, you know, anime, stuff like that, that's mostly, you know, I'm not speaking about Japan here, but, like, mostly for the rest of the side of the world, that's like kind of a thing for men, mostly. And, you know, you'll hear these statistics, these BS statistics of, like, oh, women make up 50-something% of gamers. Candy Crush and phone app games do not count. Like, tablet games do not count. Like, you know, it's really crazy. I mean, you know, because that's kind of a thing, like, some men use it to escape. You know, they come home from a hard day's work, and, you know, they just kind of want to unwind on the game, right? And, you know, you'll see, like, these videos of, like, all these women want constant attention, right? Constant. Like, and then they'll, like, destroy the boyfriend or the husband's gaming console. And it's like, you know, at this point, you know, that's destruction of property. Like, you know, not only do you need to leave this person, you need to sue the hell out of them. And they should be forced and made to pay you back for what they destroyed, or that, or make you, like, buy you a new one, right? But no, they go completely unpunished, because the system rewards behavior like that. Now, but if a man, like, you know, say who's an outcast, does some kind of type of crap like that, oh man, he's a monster. He's labeled a monster by society. He's labeled unwell. All this kind of stuff, right? And you know, this couldn't be further from the truth. But like, you know, on the topic of like dating, you know, the prime time of dating, right? So, you know, this guy I was watching, this guy's really about to turn 25, he said, and this guy has just completely given up. Now, can you imagine just giving up at 25 years old? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I was 23 and I was pretty damn close. Like, so it was like, you know, this guy, the way he was talking, I really understood him as a person, and I reached out to him on YouTube and whatnot. And this guy, you know, like, he was talking about like the no friends thing. Like, I'm about to talk about that too. Because like we've talked about that on the channel before. And as far as like the whole thing, like, you know, he said something that really stuck with me, because I've been saying this for so long. Is like, you know, he says, oh, well, a lot of people will say, oh, well, go find your tribe. And it's like, you know, these people have tried to go find their tribe and still have came up empty-handed. They've done what they've had to do, whether it's to find friends, to find a woman to settle down with, to get make a family. They've done everything, and, you know, it all ended up in failure. And it's like, you know, there's a lot of things like that that I've done. I've completely gave up on it, right? Because what else can you really do? I mean, you really just can't do anything. I mean, it's not like, you know, not giving up is not going to change your situation. Like, you know, that's like the thing of, like, you know, like if you go into a therapist, right, and you start talking the way I do, I promise you, you will be met with dead silence. You will be met with dead silence, because they cannot combat your argument. And if they even try to combat your argument, it'll be something totally unrelated to whatever the hell you just said. Like, it's laughable. Like, it's completely laughable. And it's like, you know, you're telling these people, hey, you know, I need help, like, and so on and so forth. Well, honestly, I'm starting to wonder, like, if people, like how I'm talking about now, like, if you're not in with the clique, maybe you just don't get help. Like, maybe the help for you doesn't exist. Like, you know, as far as like a therapist goes, like, I mean, you know, like, it's just, I don't know, it's really sad at the fact of, like, you have to go through this stuff on like a daily basis, right? There's people who go through this stuff on a daily basis, and like, you know, if you're an otaku male, like I mentioned before with the whole anime and video games type of thing, like, most women don't like that stuff, right? So it's like, you know, you're gonna have a hard time finding someone who's going to be interested in the same things as you, right? Like, they're gonna call you all the names, nerd, geek, you know, all this kind of stuff. Like, cool, call me those names. It doesn't really bother me. I don't really care. Like, because here's the thing. I don't care to be a geek. I don't really care. Because, you know, that I like what I like, right? So, you know, it's like people even want to dictate and try to tell you what you can like and not like, right? And it's like, you know, it's just weird. It's very weird. It's really cringe too. Like, it's cringe as hell. And you know, this problem will not get any better. It really won't. And that's the sad part, because shoot, I activated it too late. Geeks for life. Hell yeah, man. Like, hell yeah. Like, like, call me that. That name does not that name does not offend me. Like, it honestly really doesn't. Like, I mean, I kind of take pride in that, to be honest. Like, not like the sinful pride, but like, you know, you get what I'm saying, I guess. But like, yeah, like, you know, and if you're a man, you know, finding a date is like, it's not easy. Like, if you're a man like this, like, if you're not like Chad, Tyrone, all this stuff they talk about, right? It's probably not going to happen for you. Like, you know, unless you get lucky or unless you get blessed by God. That's the only way it's going to happen, is if you honestly get blessed by God. And, you know, like, your soulmate could be all the way across the world. Like, you know, but how the hell are you going to get them? You know, like... And another thing too is, like, you know, a lot of people, honestly, especially men, I've noticed. Now, there's even Discord groups about this. There's all kinds of stuff I've seen. You know, it's like people, like, they're literally paying money just to get, like, to try to even kill, like, even some of the loneliness. Like, you know, they could be trying to pay some woman to be like a pay pig, or, you know, whatever it is, right? And it's just like...
Yes?
It's I don't know, it's really sad to me, because, like, you know, like I mentioned before, the good men, who are genuinely looking for like an actual woman to be with, right? And to settle down with, they're the ones who are forgotten. They're the ones who are outcasted. They're the ones who are just not wanted. You know, if you're not like 6 feet tall, you know, making 6 figures in the bank, like, which is like 1% of men, by the way. And these 1% of men do not want these type of women. Like, it's just ridiculous. And then, you know, another thing too is you'll hear like all this alpha male bullcrap, like red pill, blue pill, black pill crap. Like, all this is it's all bullcrap. It's all bull mess. Like, it's really it's designed to make you fail, is what it is. Because here's the thing, like, take like some of the alpha male crap. Oh, just go to the gym, get shredded, get stacked. You know, Sigma, I mean, I don't have a problem with Sigma males. I mean, that's what I am. Like, I think Sigma males are probably the best men on earth, if you ask me. But like, as far as like the whole thing with that, oh, just go to the gym, get shredded, get stacked, you know, do all this, do that. And it's like, you do this stuff and then nothing changes. You know, you wonder why. And it's like, you know, oh, we'll just do it one more time, try it again. It's like, this one more time never stops. Like, it's constant. Like, it never ends, because they get paid off your suffering. Literally. These people are getting stacked with money at the expense of you suffering. And what I mean by that is, you know, you're suffering, you're trying to turn to somebody who you can relate to, and it's like, you know, come to find out, they don't even give a damn. They're just in it for the money. Like, you know, it's honestly a sad world we live in. And sadly, this problem ain't getting no better. It's not getting any better. It's not going to. Like, it's going to get a lot worse. But, like, as far as, like, all this alpha male crap, like, like, Andrew Tate and, you know, all this stuff, these people are full of crap. Like, they're honestly full of crap. Most of these people have probably never had a genuine woman in, like, a relationship with a woman. Probably just one-night stands, more than likely. Like, these people probably wouldn't be able to treat a woman, like, good at all. Like, I'm gonna be completely dead-ass honest. Like, these people are disgusting. Like, and, you know, especially, like, Andrew Tate. Like, I do not like the guy. I mean, sure, yeah, he may be right occasionally, but, like, you know, just because he said a couple of things that's right, doesn't make him a good dude. Doesn't mean he's, like, all for you and is right about everything. Like, most of the stuff he says is pure BS. Like, you know, and it's like, he also hates poor people. Like, literally, he hates poor people. Like, and it's like, you know, why would I want to entertain someone like that? Like, why would I want to even give someone the time of day who hates a person just because of their financial status? Like, of being unfortunately poor. Like, it's just, it's crazy to me. Like, but, agreed? What part did you agree on? The Sigma part that I said? But, like, you know, most men are, like, a lot of these people, like, I'll be honest with you. So I watched this one girl, right? I've watched her for, like, a while.
Don't leap
And
to conclusions. We aren't finished.
If you really pay attention, like, to the comments, like, there's a YouTuber, her name's Melanie Mack, and, you know, she has a lot of simps. I'm gonna be honest with you. She has a lot of simps. Like, most of the people in the comments are total simps, right? And alpha men being full of themselves. Yeah, it's stupid. It's honestly stupid. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, they're better than beta men. Don't get me wrong. But it's like, alpha men are very egotistical. And it's like, that's extremely toxic to a woman. Like, that's extremely toxic. Like, and it's like, you know, that's why I prefer being a Sigma male myself. I mean, I think that's the best type of male there is, in my opinion. But, like, I don't know what your view stance on that is, but, like, I mean, that's what I pretty much am. But, like, anyway, going back to the topic, like, it's just bullcrap, like, what these people say, because, you know, they'll be, like, you'll see all this, like, stuff, like, alpha male advice, right? Like, oh, how to get a woman, to be, like, how to get a woman to be unable to resist you, right? Dude, that is such clickbait that it's not even funny. Like, that's more or less saying, like, that's like me saying, oh, well, I'm gonna watch some Andrew Tate, and then, you know, I'm gonna be so full of confidence, I'm gonna be so shredded, so stacked, that I'm gonna go marry Lisa from Blackpink. That's what that's like saying. Like, it's not going to happen. It's BS. Like, it's completely BS. But, like, it's crazy how much, like, these men believe this stuff, y'all. Like, and the reason they believe it is because they're desperate to find an answer to their freaking problem. Like, you know, like I was saying before, like, you know, people like Andrew Tate, these people are in no position to be giving out dating advice. I'm going to tell you that now. That's like Taylor Swift giving out dating advice. It's the same thing. Like, it's just ridiculous, right? I mean, why would I sit here and listen to a guy who has never touched a woman in the way that a woman should be touched by a man in a marriage, and you've only just had one night stands with women? You treat them like objects. Why would I sit here and just listen to you? Like, why would I do that? Like, I'm not going to do that. That's the thing. I'm not going to do it because that's bad advice anyway. Like, but like, yeah, y'all stay away from the alpha male crap because it's bad. Like, I plan on doing a video exposing that stuff sometime, but like, it's really bad. Like, and it does not help you. Like, you can go to the gym, get stacked, get shredded, you know, lose how many ever pounds, and guess what? That's still, if you're still the same type of man, you're still an outcast. You know, I don't care how much you could bench press. I don't care if you bench press 500 pounds. You're still an outcast. Like, you know, that's not going to change or give you a different deck and hand of cards of getting a female to give you, like, attention, right? As in, like, in the dating market. Like, that's not going to do anything. And, you know, same thing, like, even if you're a woman, like, and you're an outcast, like, none of that's going to do anything. No matter how much weight loss you do, or, you know, going to the gym, or, you know, whatever it is, you know, y'all women do, right? Like, it's the same thing. It's not going to do anything because, you know, it's not changing the simple fact that you're an outcast. It's not changing the simple fact of you are a reject to society. Like, there's nothing you can do to change that. Like, you know, it's something you're pretty much born into, basically. Like, it won't matter if you have a six-pack. Well, I mean, if you got six figures, it'll matter. Yeah, you be having women all over you then, but it won't be for the right reasons, that's for sure. Just pearly things, for example. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like, it's really disgusting. But, like, you know, if a man, like I said, if a man, you know, like, especially in his teenage years, if he's missed out on good friendships and, you know, like, a first love, you know, like going to prom, you know, going to, whether it's a school dance or whatever it is, right? You know, all this stuff that they got going on, whatever. If you're missing out on that as a man, that's bad news. I'm going to tell you now, that is very bad news because that means you're an outcast. That to society, that's exactly one thing that it means. And, you know, I don't have to tell you that. You already know if you are or not. So, you know, there's nothing that you can do to change it. Like, there was a guy, he was literally talking about, like, he felt like he's living in the shadow realm. And, you know, really, honestly, I kind of agree with him because, like, it honestly kind of does feel like the shadow realm in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, there's this one scene in Yu-Gi-Oh! To where, like, the girl I like a lot, like, she loses to Merrick, right? And she's like in this hourglass thing in, like, the shadow realm, and there's a card stopping, like, the sand from getting to her, right? Which is his Egyptian god card. And, you know, he comes up and he says a little speech and then he takes his card out and then this girl just gets pretty much endless torture within the shadow realm. Like, that is literally, honestly, like a real-life depiction of how people like this, how they are, like how they live, because they're in constant torment. They're in constant agony. You know, they've always got something bad going on. And, you know, sure, I mean, life has its ups and downs, but, like, when you're one of these people and you just can't catch a break, like, that stuff does a lot to your mind. Like, it does a lot to your mind, and you know, like, it's really sad because, you know, if a lot of these women, not women, sorry, if a lot of these men, you know, a lot of them, like, they're not going to be able to necessarily reproduce. Like, you know, they're not going to be able to have children. They're not going to be able to pass their bloodline on. You know, and it's like, that's a very sad thing. And, it's just really sad. Like, I mean, I've seen people who will literally sit here and be like, well, you know what? I'm just going to give up, and, you know, they'll have people telling them not to give up, right? Like, say, maybe. If they have a person telling them not to give up, it's like, well, why not? Like, what, if I don't give up, what's going to change? Like, you know, I mean, we're living in a day and age now to where a man cannot even walk up to a woman simply to just say, hey, you're pretty. Like, and another thing, I'll tell you another thing, there's this VTuber I watch, right? And she was even talking about, because she believes in just giving compliments, right? And she said, she told this woman in Walmart, that she said, your dress is really nice, I like that. And then this woman just started throwing a fit. Like, this woman literally started throwing a fit that this woman was complimented. And, even by the same sex. Like, it's just wild. Like, you know, it's like, this is where we are as a society. It's just everybody is uptight, everybody is against everybody, everybody's always got a problem with you, they dislike you, they, you know, and it's like, it's very draining, it's very toxic, and just overall very exhausting, right? Like, this stuff is not going to change. Like, it's not going to get better. Like I even said in my previous video, people's like, oh, 2026 is going to be better. No, as a matter of fact, 2026 has already proven it's about to get worse, because, you know, they're already talking about, you know, the Xbox and the PlayStation getting, like, pushed back because there's about to be a massive, like, chip shortage. And, like, you know, all this stuff's going to go up, and, you know, you'd be surprised what these chips go to, whether it's cars, TVs, game consoles, you know, computers, like, whatever, right? And, you know, their mentality makes no sense, but it makes sense to them. Well, I mean, yeah, because that's the thing. These people, that's the thing. They get everything handed to them. You know, like, as far as, like, this, like, take it this way. Like, say, like, these women, like, on OnlyFans, right? They literally got their career just handed to them. Like, literally, like, oh, here you go. Here's all the money you need. Like, because they didn't have to do anything, really. They didn't really have to try that hard. I mean, I could list a lot of other things. Like, you know, some people, like, even some people on YouTube, like, have been pretty much handed, like, oh, well, here you go. You know, here's the, silver YouTube plaque. Like, and it's like, you know, well, this person was, like, only doing YouTube for, like, maybe a couple months tops. And it's like, you know, how the heck do they have that? Because, like, you know, that kind of takes time to get. but, like, you know, it's crazy. Like,
well, good job, whatever.
And another thing, too, like, you know, if you're a man missing out on, like, all these friend groups and stuff, right? Like, it's going to end very bad for you, because, you know, you're pretty much isolated. You're isolated against your will, basically. Like, you know, you're not choosing to be isolated. You're not choosing to be alone. You're forced to be that way. Like, and that's where it gets really depressing, because, you know, like, people who are just forced to be alone, right? Like, that's just, man, that's... I mean, I understand it. I know. I've been there, right? And it's like... I mean, I'm still there sometimes myself. But, like, another thing, too, like... Going back to, like, I was talking about, like, with the otaku men, to where, like, you know, they have these certain types of hobbies that most women don't have, right? Like, you know, if finding a good woman like that, you know, that does, that's the challenge, too. But here's another thing. Finding a woman who's not going to gaslight you, finding a woman who's not going to stonewall you, all these kind of narcissistic traits, that's going to be your real test. That's going to be your real problem, because almost everybody is a narcissist, men included. Like, you know, there's a lot of toxic, narcissistic men too, and you know, this problem is not getting any better. It's getting much worse by the day. Like, I mean, honestly, I feel like, based off of everything that I have seen, I would say that probably women are more worse about this, but, you know, they don't want to talk about that. But, like, and, you know, this video is not an attack on women, it's not an attack on men, or really anybody, but, you know, it's more or less, you know, I'm just sitting here telling it how it is, right? Like, you know, when you're a man who is, you know, say you like an anime lover or something, right? Like, you know, you're viewed as, you know, anymore. I mean, I think the woke community is basically the prime example of this, but like, there's even people who aren't woke who say this type of stuff. Like, you know, if you like an attractive woman or whatever, you're called an incel, you know, when they don't even know what the hell that means, apparently. You're called, like, a gooner, you're called, you know, all these kind of really derogatory slurs, right? Like, you know, and it's like, it really goes to show, like, how much of an outcast these types of people are. And it's like, you know, the only reason why these people, these outcasts, have somewhat of a voice against this is because they're all fighting together. That's why they've literally fought together on the internet, and that's why they have a voice. I'll be straight up with you, like, that is exactly why. But like, you know, it's just, it's very unfortunate because, yeah, I didn't get to block that. Oh well. It's very unfortunate because, you know, while you're sitting here trying to find somebody, like, you know, you're having your name dug in the ground, like, for nothing, really. And, I mean, like, it's just crazy. Like, and, you know, if you're a man who rejects, like, certain types of women, like, you get called names for that, too. Like, you know, say you don't like women who, you know, have brunette hair and then, like, have blue eyes, right? You know, say you're more of, like, the kind of blonde hair, like, blue eyes type guy. You get pretty much your name drug in the ground for just preference, right? But yet, you know, if a woman has a preference of, like, well, I want a man who's rich, 6 figures, abs, 6 feet tall, oh, that's not a problem. And you'll try to call them out on this, and then they try to gaslight you and be narcissistic and make you look like the bad. That's what they do. They try to make you look like the bad guy, right? But, like, you know, as another thing too is, like, with otaku men too, is I feel like you know, if you're not in the clique, obviously, and, you know, more than likely, you know, you're probably not if you're watching this video, but, like, it's like, you sit here and you take the necessary steps to try to, you know, change your situation, your circumstance. And here's the thing, if you're an outcast, there's nothing you can do. So, you know, there's a saying, like, in the Saw movies, right? It's called how you play the cards you're dealt with, that's all that matters. And that's so true, but I will add something to that. What if there isn't any cards playable? What if you don't have a hand of cards, but you have the whole dang deck in your hands, and there's still nothing to play? What then? Because, believe it or not, there's a lot of men who's like that. They have the whole damn deck of cards in their hand, and they can't play anything. There's nothing they can do. They're isolated against their will. You know, they're mocked, they're bullied, they're you know, they're disregarded within society, and same thing with women of this nature too. So, like, it's just really, it's very unfortunate. Like, you know, there's a scene with the movie I like, right? It's called The Equalizer. It's based off an 80s show, but I don't really care for that one. I like the movies with Denzel Washington. To me, in my personal opinion, like, you know, in the 80s version, The Equalizer was a white old guy. In my personal opinion, like, The Equalizer's a black dude. Like, that's just my personal opinion. If you have a different opinion, that's you. But, like, anyway, that's more of the story anyway. Like, there's this part, like, this guy that knows the guy character, Robert McCall, the one Denzel Washington plays as, the Equalizer, right? He knew him back, even, like, when he worked and stuff for the top secret government. And this guy ends up killing somebody, like, his best friend, right? Like, McCall's best friend gets killed by this guy, and he finds it out. And, you know, he's like, well, what about Susan? You know, because that was the girl's name. He just goes, unfortunate. You know, like, that really goes to show the mindset, you know, of, like, that goes to show the mindset right there. Like, that is how most people in society view you. Like people who are outcasted or stuff like that, right? Like, another thing too is, like, to further prove my point, like, there's going back to the thing, another thing, Saw 6, right? So there, basically the message of, like, Saw 6 is about, like, if you remember back when that CEO thing happened, like, somebody shot a CEO of, like, a health company or something. As a matter of fact, it actually reminded me of Saw 6 because of what the movie is about. It is about, like, corrupt people that are in the medical field. It's about how all of them are corrupt and stuff. And basically this guy and all his workers get put in, like, jigsaw traps, right? And there's this one that really, really speaks a lot of volume. And so basically this guy has to go through and apply his policies for his health company to his health workers to determine if, you know, they're worthy to survive by his stance, right? So he does this, and, like, you know, he's very crooked and stuff, but, like, he actually ends up kind of changing at the end till he dies. But anyway, so there's this one thing. It's a trap where they're, like, two people are hanged with barbed wire. There's, like, this woman and then this guy, right? So this woman has, like, she's old, she's got diabetes, but she has a lot of family members, right? And there's this little device here. He's got to take and hold these things, and like the longer he holds these things, the farther they stretch his arms out, right? And he can see like photos of these people, and like there's like photos of this woman with her family popping up. And then this other guy, he's a total outcast. He doesn't have a wife, a girlfriend, family, friends, siblings, nothing. He's got nobody, right? And, you know, like, do I think the guy made the right choice? Yes, I do. But anyway, this guy who is the corrupt CEO, he decides to let the guy who's an outcast die because this other woman has a lot of family. And, you know, because Jigsaw's like, you know, before you choose, I just want to let you know, you know, this woman here, she's got a lot of family, so you know, if you decide to do this to her, imagine the loss to her family, right? And then he talks about this guy, he goes, while young Alan will disappear on the world's radar without a blip. Like, you know, basically what he means is nobody's gonna miss him. That's what he means, because he's an outcast. And it's like, you know, I'm not necessarily saying that's you as an outcast. I'm just saying, like, society, like, it goes to show, like, the movie is not promoting that type of message for outcasts, but, like, I think more so or less it's trying to say that that is how society works. But, like, it's really, really unfortunate because, you know, men like that, obviously, you know, they have a lot of baggage. They also have a lot of mental health problems, you know, whether it be depression, anxiety, PTSD, autophobia, like, you know, I could go on, right? Like, you know, it's endless, sadly, but, you know, and even if you're a woman, you may have that stuff too if you're an outcast. Like, but, like, you know, it's not, like, another thing, too, is, like, a person who is, like, say, 24 years old, and they've never been on a date. You know, these people, they get called incels. And, you know, that's just a really weird name to call someone of that kind of way, because that is not at all what an incel is. As a matter of fact, an incel actually hates women. Like, so it's like, you know, that I don't know why they try to use these things as like derogatory terms, but like, I don't know, it's really sickening. I mean, I do not like derogatory terms, but like, it's just, it's very weird. But like, you know, if you're a man, you know, and you're missing out on like love and stuff, like this guy honestly said something that really struck true to me, honestly, until I got married, actually. This guy said, you know, he sees all these couples like in love and stuff, and I'm like, well, like, not necessarily like whole swill, like a lot of them I wouldn't necessarily say are in love. I would say a lot of them are just bored, a lot of them are just fooling around, a lot of them are just, you know, testing the waters, a lot of them are just in it for money or something. But like, the ones who are truly in love, though, is the ones I'm talking about, right? So, you know, he wanted to say, you know, he would see them like holding hands and, you know, being all lovey-dovey. He said, you know, that's very foreign to him. He doesn't know what that's like. You know, and it's like, you know, for the longest time, you know, I was that way. Like, and really, to be honest with you, love, like, not talking about like God or anything or like a spouse right now, but any like other love is like, it's extremely foreign to me. Like, I don't understand it because, well, take that back. Not that I don't understand it. I don't understand it from the lens of I've never had it kind of thing. Like, I'm sure that makes sense, I guess, but like, you know, and a lot of these men, you know, that I'm talking about now, they're obviously like this, right? So, like, it's just, I don't know, it's very unfortunate because, you know, these people should have somebody, you know, and, you know, you could call them, like, men who have been abandoned or, you know, just whatever, you know, like, because it's like, you know, I mean, think about it as a whole. Like, do you understand, like, how much hate, like, just firefighters get? Like, just firefighters alone. Like, do you understand how much hate they get? Like, and it's like, you know, who in their right mind is going to hate a firefighter? Like, you know, if your house is on fire, that's the only person that's going to probably save you. Like, but like, you know, it's just very unfortunate. And, you know, another thing too is like, you know, with men who, you know, want this stuff and forced to live in isolation, you know, no freaking wonder why they snap. Like, when these people snap, when these men snap, regardless if this has nothing to do with being an otaku right now, but like when these men snap, that's it, man. Like, there ain't no going back. Like, there ain't no going back when these people snap, right? Like, it's happened many and many of times, right? Like, but like, you know, another thing is like I was mentioning earlier, sorry, I'm coughing again, is like, they're snapping for no reason or in their feelings. No, these people do not snap for no reason. No, I think you misunderstood what I said. No, when these people snap when they've been hurting for so long, it's no wonder why they snap. I mean, can you honestly blame? Can you know, like, well, hold on, like, can you honestly, like, not understand that? Because it's like, hey, you know, I can kind of understand why they do snap, and, you know, because, like, they've been rejected. They've been outcasted by literally everything on planet Earth, and it's like, you know, it's a hellish existence to live that way, right? Like, it's really hard to live that way, and you're good. It's just, it's not good at all, and it just makes you really think, like, why does it have to be this way? Like, why does it have to, you know, why do these people have to be outcasted? Like, but like, well, take like autistic men, right? A lot of autistic men are bullied beyond imaginability in school. Like, for a problem that they can't help, right? And it's like, you know, if you really think about that one thing alone, society's pretty sick. Like, you know, the government is not on your side. Like, But like, yeah, y'all, it's not going to get better. And another thing is like, you know, when that's something like that is foreign to you, right? Like yeah, I feel sorry for them too. Like if they like don't understand the thing of love, if it's foreign to them, right? So that right there is very bad because, you know, obviously they may even be able to like forget even how to love, like, or if they did try to go about going and getting a date, they're not even going to understand how to go about doing it because, you know, they never got to do that when they was a teenager. They never got to do that when they were in their early 20s, you know, like, it's just like, it's very rough, like, very rough to deal with. And another thing you got to deal with too is like, you know, the whole stonewalling thing. Now, this is a big problem because I am honestly convinced, like, I'm honestly convinced, like, not necessarily talking about my best friend here, so other than that, I still have yet to meet a woman in America who does not stonewall. Try to say bad things about me all you want, but like, it's the freaking truth. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have not met a woman in America that does not stonewall. I've not. And it's like, you know, stonewalling is much more than just the silent treatment, right? You know, a lot of people's like, oh, well, you know, that's just silent treatment. So like, you know, no, stonewalling is far more worse than that. Like, you know, silent treatment is extremely bad, right? So, you know, stonewalling has, you know, it's got a lot of things that's like in that category, right? So I'll tell you another thing that's stonewalling. You know, in a relationship, I'll tell you what a lot of people like to do. They want to try to like sweep problems under the rug, or, you know, stuff like that. Like, you know, that's not going to help the situation. As a matter of fact, that's just going to make whatever relationship you got much worse. It's not going to fix the problem. I mean, and the fact that, like, you know, your stonewalling shows that you're not capable of even maintaining a relationship, because if you're stonewalling, that shows you don't know what the heck, you don't even know how to communicate, you don't know how to, it's pretty bad, to be honest. How did that still hit me? I had the freaking thing on. But like, yeah, it's really bad, y'all. Like, it's no joke. And it's no wonder why so many men have just completely gave up on women. Like, you can't win with them. That's the problem. You cannot win with, and this is, like I said, this ain't an attack on women, but like, you just cannot win with them. Like, I know a woman, she's a very good friend of mine, and I talk with her quite often, and, you know, she talks about all the time these types of women that literally make her embarrassed to even be a woman. And it's like, you know, I understand where she's coming from. Like, I totally get that. But like, you know, like stonewalling, that's another problem you're going to have to deal with as, like, you know, a man like this, if you're really trying to find somebody, because it's just, it's very bad. Like, you know, even say you're trying to bring something up to somebody, you know, say you're a woman trying to talk to your man about something, or you're a man trying to talk to your woman about something or whatever, right? Like, you know, and they're like, oh, well, you know, I don't want to talk about it right now. We can talk about it later, and then later never comes. Or, you know, they'll say things like, oh, I don't want to argue, or, you know, just all this off-the-wall stuff. You know, what they're doing is they are shutting the conversation down. They are throwing up a wall between you and the other person and saying, hey, I don't like this. I do not care how you feel. That's how they are being. And it's like, you know, every relationship I have ever been in, like, I was stonewalled, like, every freaking time. You know, so, like, I've had my fair share of dealing with stonewalling, and even today, I've dealt with it from all kinds of people, still today, and, like, you know, it's like, it's not going to get better. So, you know, there's a lot of things you gotta really worry about, you know, when you're in this trying to find a you know, your special person. You know, when you're a man trying to find your woman, right? Like, it's gonna be rough. You're in for a wild ride because it's not gonna be fun. I'll tell you that now. But like, yeah, I will say this. You know, if you've tried, at least you can say you've tried, I guess. You know, if anything. But like, yeah, sure, you can say, oh, well, I tried, but I mean, it's like, you know, that's not really that much of really a good thing, I would say. Yeah, you tried. It's like, yeah, I failed too. And it's like, you know, imagine sitting like on your deathbed and just be like, oh, well, you know, I tried, but like nothing ever came of any of it. It's like, you know, you're gonna die pretty miserable. Like you really are. Like it's not going to be pleasant. And it's like, you know, I actually have a book on, like, I plan on reading soon. It's called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. And in this book, you notice that none of the regrets are about money, status, fame, or wealth, or none of that. It's not about none of that. It's all about the soul. And it's like, you know, it was written by a palliative nurse who spent like years, long time with patients in their last moments. You know, none of that stuff was about stuff like that. And it's crazy, but like, yeah, I mean, all I know to tell you is, if you want to keep trying, keep trying. I know that's, may not want to. I mean, if you want to give up, that's you. But like, I mean, I was almost to that point once. Like, I mean, I'll be honest. I was 23 and I was about to just throw in the towel and forget it. Because it's like, you know, a lot of these people, they start believing that they're meant to be alone, because no matter what happens, no matter how they go about it, it always goes wrong. Nothing ever good comes of it. And it's like, you know, that's really sad too, because these people are not getting to experience what they need to experience, right? So, but, yeah, wish you could treat from the sun to sunlight without have to go through snakes. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's a given though, man. Like, I mean, here's the thing: to find a good Christian Bible study group, you got to go through snakes and wolves in sheep's clothing, right? Like, I mean, you know, or, you know, to find like a good friend group, you got to go through snakes. I mean, like I've talked about that before on the channel, like of how many people I have added, like on a gaming console alone, and you know what I've got to show for it, right? Like, but like, yeah. Anyway, I thought I would get on here and kind of talk about some things like this because it was on my mind, and then I watched a video about something similar to this, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to talk about some things tonight. So, yeah, like tomorrow I won't be doing a topic. I'll be doing like a live chat and game thing. For those of you who want to join and chat, if not, then cool, whatever, I guess. But like, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I guess I'll end this one here. And you just gotta keep
Where did you come from?
crap. Keep trying to keep a level head. Keep trying to stay sane. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna end this one here. So hope everybody's doing well today, tonight. You know, wherever you're from, whether it's day or night. So like, yeah. Anyway, I don't know how many topics I'll do starting next week. I may do one or two, or I may just do a video that like combines two. I haven't really decided yet, but I'll let everybody know most definitely what I decide to do. So be watching for that if you want. But like, yeah, it's really brutal out there, like for real. It's a very brutal place, and you know, like a lot of times these people who are like, I will say this, a lot of these people who have like the advantages and stuff, they'll complain, like, you know, they had stuff given to them, they'll complain, or you know, all this kind of stuff, like, you know, and I've talked about how I view complainers anyway already, so I'm not going to get into that, but yeah. So anyway, I guess I'm going to end this one here now. Well, actually, no. One more thing before I go. Back to the stonewalling thing. You know, another thing that they do to stonewall is they will cross their arms, or they will have averted eyes. Now, be watching for that, because that is them setting up a stonewall, and obviously they will follow that up with silent treatment, refusing to speak or engage in whatever this is. This could be even walking away, or possibly even turning their back and leaving the scene. Like, and it's like, you know, they'll just be really numb to what you're trying to talk about. And it's just, it's very unfortunate. So, but like, yeah, anyway, if you have any other topics you would like me to speak on, make sure you drop them. If you're in the Discord server, drop them there. If you want to drop them on YouTube in the comments, you know, wherever, I guess. I know most of you are not in the Discord server, so yeah, like, make sure to do that if you have a topic you want me to cover. So anyway, I'm gonna end this one here, and we'll be live next time, and then we'll talk about other stuff sometimes. So yeah, anyway, God bless you all, and I will see you all next time. Peace.